Welcome classic rock fans to another unboxing, and of course a much anticipated one, which these Jethro Tull reissues always are. Of course we really enjoyed last year's Songs from the Wood, which is really worth the wait, and I suspect this one as well, of course, comes from the what I call the classic Tull period, will certainly not disappoint. Anyway, let's take the cellophane off it. I mean, one thing about these items is the quality of them, the quality of the card, the reproduction of the images are absolutely remarkable, and also, I mean, what I really like is all the unpublished photographs that they also include in these. Not to mention, of course, is the extras that go into it. I mean, there's a lot of extras on this that I obviously first heard when the 20th anniversary box set came out, if you remember that. Songs from the outtakes from the sort of Heavy Horses sessions. Anywho, let's see what we've got. As per usual, I mean, the quality of the images, as I've said, are just absolutely remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. It's move that over a bit, and you get the lovely CDs that are live in Bern, which is going to be interesting to hear, I think. What also might be interesting from the same year's Heavy Horses is whether or not we're going to get a kind of a special edition of. You can see that. We get a special edition of Bursting Out with lots of extras and stuff like that, if it's possible. I don't know if that's coming out at all. And of course we've got Heavy Horses 1, the first CD. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And look at the crispness of that image. I mean, it's just the quality of the reproduction is just fantastic. It's you can see where the money goes with these, and they're just worth absolutely worth every penny. I paid about 32 quid for mine. I don't know how much you paid for yours. Brilliant, obviously brilliant picture from that about the time they were doing the Heavy Horses thing. And look at that, isn't that fabulous? Isn't that wonderful? I don't want to bend it too much, but isn't that great? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Again, another great image of Ian Anderson with the mares. I consider this to be like the classic lineup, because I mean you've got David Palmer's involved now. He's obviously since Songs from the Wood, and perhaps before I think Songs from the Wood he was actually involved. And he brings a kind of a musical gravitas to Jethro Tull at this point. I think he's a remarkable addition. As in, you know, we talk about additions to the Jethro Tull lineup that have really made a difference. And one of them for me would be Barrymore Barlow when he joined as drummer for Thick as a Brick. I think that really upped their game sonically and musically. He was a real power sort of rock drummer, I think. No disrespect to Clive Bunker, but I really do think Tull improved with the inclusion of Barrymore Barlow. And the same can be said obviously I think when David Palmer comes on board. Great stuff. Lots of information. David Palmer there with his pipe. Now, of course, D. Palmer. On this day's tour. Songs of the Wood, Heavy Horses is an interesting album. It's what I call Tull's rustic period. Of course, with Songs from the Wood, we get all this stuff about folk myth lore. Folklore, I should say. You know, and stories like Jack in the Green. But with Heavy Horses, it takes a more sober, realistic portrayal of rural life, really. I can't wait to read this, actually. I mean, the amount of information that goes into it is just absolutely fascinating. That, of course, is the famous picture that found on the back of the Heavy Horses album. Lovely picture by Lucy Kemp Welch, 1868 to 1958. Wow, Heavy Horses beer. I think it should be a Jethro Tull ale, actually. I mean, Iron Maiden do one. Why not Tull? Brilliant. I think it's Maddie Pryor, isn't it? Maddie Pryor from local Steel I Span. I mean, Heavy Horses for me is Songs from the Wood and Heavy Horses are just remarkably good albums. They're kind of my go-to Jethro Tull albums. My favourite Tull album, I think one of my favourite Tull albums of all time has got to be A Passion Play. Sorry about the gurgling noise in the background, that's not my stomach, that's my wife's decided at this precise moment to put the washing machine on. But yeah, Passion Play is kind of my go-to Tull album now. I actually prefer it to Aqualung and Thick as a Brick. I think probably because I've over listened to those albums. Obviously that's from the Heavy Horses video, which I suspect is on here. So the Live at Madison Square Gardens is a great film. It's one I perhaps would have included with this release. I know it's already got an official release, but it probably would only bump the price up, and I suppose most of us already got it anyway. I'd be interested to hear those burn tapes, so what they're like. Again, I can't stress the quality of the paper and everything. I mean, you know what these are like. I mean, I imagine you've bought the other ones. I can't believe for 1 minute I'm actually presenting this to someone who is not considering buying it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. John Glasscock there. Or Brittle Dick, as they used to call him. Died tragically young, of course, didn't he? Wonderful pictures, more pictures. It's funny, I mean, the Tull has like pivotal moments, really sort of seismic shifts that really define them. For me, it's the kind of rustic period, Songs from the Wood, and this one. And before then, I would say I consider Stand Up to be the very first Jethro Tull album. And what I mean by that, it's the album where their identity is really coming through, I think. Brilliant picture of Ian there. Then we get Aqualung, of course, in the prog period. Barrymore Barlow joins for Thick as a Brick. And then we get this period of Tull's development. Can't even say it, don't worry, I'll cut that out. Tull's development with Songs from the Wood and Heavy Horses. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There is actually a TV performance of Moths. I'm sure there is. I wonder if that's made it on here. The obligatory weathercock. Again, I mean, it's just the wealth of information that goes into it. There's such lavish editions. I mean, I think they're worth buying, even if you're not a Jethro Tull fan. Certainly looking forward to the next one, of course. Stormwatch. Heavy Horses Guitar, the other Martin. Again, I apologise for the noise of the washing machine in the background. Brilliant picture. And Maddie Pryor. Hooray! The washing machine's finished. Ian Hansen with a gun, very much playing the kind of country, giving very much the country squire look. Maddie Pryor now, I think. Steel & Spen still do the rounds, I think. I saw them a couple of times years ago. That's a brilliant picture of Ian Anderson, isn't it? Brilliant picture. Curved Air's Darryl Way recalls touring with Jethro Tull. Of course, Curved Air are a band that still do the rounds. I've seen them a couple of times. Oops, sorry. You get the chronology. I mean, I love these as well because it gives all the tour dates, tickets, passes, posters, and all sorts of things that are associated with the band at that time. Looks like a beer coaster, brilliant. I love these tickets as well. Reproduction of the tickets. A mate of mine shared on Facebook his Pink Floyd ticket from 1977. I can't believe it. He only paid £4.50 to see Pink Floyd. John Evans keyboards, of course. John Evans keyboard. Ian Anderson, Martin Barr, David Palmer, John Glasscock, and Barrymore Barlow. It'd be interesting. I always hope that they will bring in technology so they can really sort of take bootlegs apart and improve the sound, so they can actually release a lot of classic Tull bootlegs. One being a sack full of trouser snakes, which came around about this time. On the overview, if you feel interesting, it's a Christmas card. I suppose they're kind of like studio personnel and people like that. Brief history of heavy horses. You know, there's just so much to read in here. And the DVD, Jethro Tull Live in Bern. I'm presuming this isn't actually a DVD. So there we are, there's the second disc. Live in Bern. And again, another great photo, ends on a great picture. And what have we got here? Oops, don't want to bend, break or snap or anything. Brilliant, the Stephen Wilson mixes. Be interested in what you think of the Stephen Wilson mixes, actually. I mean, I'm really enjoying them. I found the Chateau Disaster tapes quite stark, really, but obviously without all those sort of 1980s embellishments added by Ian Anderson, they did sound a bit stark. And there's the CD3 Live in Bern Part 2. I wonder if it'd be interesting how that Live in Bern actually compares to Bursting Out, whether it's better. Anyway, so there we have, there's the back of it, and you know, obviously we've got CD1, the Stephen Wilson stereo remix of Heavy Horses. You know what the songs are, I don't have to say that. Associated recordings of Living in These Hard Times. Version 2 is interesting. Everything in Our Lives, never heard that one. Jacqueline, Quatrain, Horse Hoeing Husbandry, Beltane, Botanic Man. New tracks, never heard these before. Living in These Hard Times and Botanic Man theme, never heard that. CD2, opening, CD2 obviously has got to be the Live in Bern. Anything interesting on there that wasn't on Bursting Out? Heavy Horses, that wasn't on Bursting Out, was it? Living in the past, what's in the word? Takes a bit hunting at the turn. If that's, I said, it'd be interesting to hear that. No, so there's the back. So there you have it. That's Heavy Horses, the New Shoes edition. I'm already looking forward to Stormwatch. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please click like and subscribe. Check out the Facebook page, but more importantly, please do keep listening.